Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 2nd of July, 2022. Happy Dominion Day or Canada Day out there to my fans and listeners. Yes, happy Canada Day indeed, or sort of. Some of the foolery and debauchery and some of the counter protests have been going on. And personally, I just don't feel that it was a really good day. All that more come at the podcast. Please stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Dominion Day or Canada Day, past parts, sort of. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. And yeah, I guess the past couple of days have been really interesting on the front of Canadian politics and in celebration of our glorious independence or founding, more or less, back in 1867. Yes, I'm wearing a different headdress today. A little too hot for a toque, I might add, but needless to say, this was a present from my father. So before you ask me or send me a nasty comment about my headwear, it was a gift from my dad a few years ago when he was in Arizona. Anyhow, welcome to the Crusty Canuck podcast, episode 179. Yes, Dominion Day is come and gone, ladies and gentlemen. For those of us who still call it Dominion Day or Canada Day, either or, I personally don't care. July 1st, 1867 was when Sir John A. Macdonald and 4 founding provinces of this country put together the Dominion of Canada to more or less unite the peoples at that time against what appeared to be an American onslaught historically. The Civil War just ended in the United States. America was expanding. The United States was expanding. Their territory was more west, and there was a fear that if Canada didn't unite, then America might have gone up north and try to take some territory. But that was just a sign of the times, of the politics at that time, too. And needless to say, it wasn't a bloody civil war in Canada. It wasn't a battle. It's just part of our history, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've sat and I've watched some news clips and I've read some articles in regards to Canada. And I've seen a lot of people who want to disenfranchise this nation, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of how imperfect we are. And regardless of how you feel about democracy, every democracy is imperfect one way or the other, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. We can't always get things right the first time. I get that. And of course, I'm the biggest critic that I know out there that's against this liberal brand, what they call government. But needless to say, I am pretty thankful and grateful that I served 20 years in the Canadian Forces as an infantry soldier. And I worked my butt off to get the rank of sergeant. And I merited to get to my warrants course too. So needless to say, I did my effort for Queen and country, per se. Now, regardless of how flawed our system is in regards to looking after people, and I mean all people, not just a handful here or a handful there. Okay, we've seen the plight and the struggle that our First Nations have gone through, but we've also witnessed the plight and the struggle that a lot of our middle class has gone through. And that doesn't mean one group of middle class here or one group of middle class there. That's all Canadian middle class. Doesn't matter if they're black, white, Asian, First Nation. It doesn't matter if they're European descent. Doesn't matter if they're Caucasian. Doesn't matter if they're part this or part that. Okay. I, for one, am getting tired of this division and this class system that's constantly being rammed down our effing throats all the time. Okay. Now, where I work, it's simple. Show up to work on time, do the best you can, show some courtesy and respect to the best of your ability, and then do the best job you can. And my employers notice that. And I notice that in them too. And they don't care about my background. They don't care what I stand for. They don't care if I promote liberty. They don't care if I promote democracy. They just want me to show up and do my job to the best of my ability. And because of that, I do well, right? I got a raise there last month. I didn't even know it. So I was quite pleased with that. But the cost of living is affecting everybody in this country. Now, I downloaded some footage from Trudeau's glorious speech there in Ottawa But I'm not going to put it on here today, ladies and gentlemen, because I think you and I both know, and to my American listeners out there and some of my new European listeners who have graciously said hello, hello back. We all know that our prime minister is a fucking joke. Okay? We all know that our prime minister is full of it. Doesn't matter what he talks about, whether it's the economy, whether it's the climate change. Oh, he's going to save the world at our expense, right? Or anything in general. Okay? Now, I've said numerous times in the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, that I have lost all respect for the prime minister for a very, very good reason, because he lies through his teeth and he doesn't care about you or me. He talks about diversity, but the moment you promote any kind of diversity of thought, which I think is the foundation of diversity in itself, he just dismisses you. Okay. Need I remind everybody here too what he said in Quebec television about the unvaccinated, calling them all racist and misogynists and sexist and just terrible people altogether. Oh my God, how dare you not get a shot? And this is coming from my ass clown that got the beer bug 3 times. 3 times in the past 7 months. How effective are those jibby jabs, Mr. Trudeau? Right? How effective are they if you get sick 3 times in a month? Right? Now, when I look at Canada Day, I look at it as a day to celebrate this nation. Now, I've dealt with some people over the past couple of years, actually since I started doing this podcast, in regards to how Canada's this and Canada's that, and oh my God, Canada's such a terrible country. Is it? Is it so terrible when you cash a welfare check? Is it so terrible when you collected the CERB or the CEBA? Now, I'm not saying everybody that was on the CERB or CEBA, took it for granted. There are genuine people out there and genuine business owners that needed that help because of some of the ridiculous mandates and the bureaucratic BS that kept their faces to the ground. But I also caught a few people bragging about how they got the free this and free that. So it puts things in perspective. And some people speculate that that's why the inflation is so high, because so many people took advantage of that handout or that free money, which I think is bullshit. But you and I both know that the inflation is government, right? They refuse to open the markets to let our oil flow. They refuse to open the markets to let our natural resources flow. They don't want to give the agriculture a fair shake because they want to label burger meat with warning labels, right? And they want to encourage us to eat crickets and that Beyond Meat garbage. I personally watched a friend of mine take one of those Beyond Meat burgers, cook it, and give it to his dog. Needless to say, I've never seen such a sadder look on an animal's face in my life. Kind of like the look I want to see on Justin's face when he gets humiliated. But yeah, what do I know?
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're back to episode 179. Happy Dominion Day, Canada, or Canada Day, sort of. Yeah, the feeling just wasn't there. Like I was working yesterday, Canada Day, I was working until about 4 o'clock, did some housework, helped my wife out here and all that. We just chilled. And, and we both agreed that we are grateful to be living in this country, regardless of what has happened, especially what has happened the past 7 months, right? Now, I'm going to play a little video from Rebel Media there, and there was a bit of a protest there. And before I start this video, I want to say a special thank you out there and a well-done effort to Warrant Officer James Tops. Warrant Officer James Top. He's a reservist out of BC who took it upon himself to get a few allies and a few buddies with him to march across Canada. And I think the actual distance he marched was 4,297 kilometers from Vancouver to Ottawa. Okay. And this man took the initiative upon himself to march that distance. And I think he started in the end of March or early April to make his way here. Well, he passed through Alberta, but to make his way to Ottawa to the War Memorial and to show his respects. Now, I should have done a couple episodes about this gentleman earlier. My apologies to my fellow vets out there for not doing it. And Mr. Top, if you're listening, well done to you, as you don't. C'est bon effet, mon ami. Jamais de pays, right? So that's well worth the effort, you know. Now we all know the story about Terry Fox, how he ran across the country, right? He left Newfoundland and made his way, I think, to Thunder Bay until he got sick again, and then you know he passed on. But Mr. Top did roughly the same thing with the pack on his back and marched for freedom and marched against the ridiculous mandates this country is still enduring to the most part, right? So if anyone's listening who knows Mr. Top, tell him I say thank you. One veteran to the next, one Crusty Canuck to the next. Thank you very much for that outstanding effort. God bless your courage. God bless your integrity. And well done on you, warrant officer. Well fucking done. But the Rebel Media put together something at the War Memorial today. I think it was recorded about 6 hours ago, according to the standards here. But I'll just cue it up here for you. And I want you guys to listen to it carefully. Okay. And make your own decision when it comes to this. Now, the counter protesters are really nothing to worry about. And I'm all for freedom of speech and freedom of choice and everything and expression, regardless of what point you have or what point this person has, we can all do it. But when I look at these clowns, the way they're reacting, and pay attention to some of the signs that you're going to see in this footage here too. Okay. Pay attention to it carefully to see how these individuals are reacting to what Mr. Top did. Okay. And you, my beautiful audience out there, I want you to make a sound and vibrant decision on regards to what some of the opinions that individuals have in this country when it comes to people doing the hard work or doing what it takes to make a point. Now, I'll just cue this up here. But as I say again, ladies and gentlemen, as I say again, listen carefully to what these individuals are saying to Mr. Menzies and the other Rebel reporter there. I know he's relatively new, and it doesn't matter if you listen to Rebel or not, or watch Rebel. It's just a different source of information for you out there to listen to. So I'll cue this up here. And like I say, you guys decide what's being said and what's being done here. So here we go.
Film me without my permission. Film me without your 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 permission. Film me without my permission. Film me without my permission. You're filming without my permission. Can you take a step back, please?
Okay, film me without my permission. My God. Now, you see that one lady there? She had a sign saying Holocaust deniers. Now, I don't recall anybody on the convoy or anybody protesting in Ottawa denying said Holocaust. Like, just wow, And of course, you can see the sign right there. It says, fuck fascist. Well, yeah. But when I look at these anti-fuck clowns or these so-called progressive clowns, are they promoting freedom or are they promoting fascism? Anyway, I'll carry on.
Oh, hello, sir. What is your flight today? Oh, that was. Excuse me. Well, you know what? David Menzies for Rebel News here in Ottawa. Well, I'm at the beautiful National War Memorial. And you know something, folks? We were here less than 24 hours ago. More than 1,000 people had assembled to welcome James Top. He is the reservist who has been walking across Canada going back to February. He's covered more than 4,300 kilometers, if you can imagine. And there was a wonderful reception here to gather him, but not everybody was on side because further down the street here from the National War Memorial, there were the Antifa types. And we right away noticed their signs, and they were demonizing Mr. Top as a fascist, as a traitor. Well, that's pretty harsh. So in any event, we crossed the street to go over there to get their side of the story. Didn't go all that well. Check it out. Hi, man. We're just reading your sign. James Top is a traitor. Oh, I'm interviewing a squeezy toy. Let's see what I had no idea I was in front of a daycare. So you can.
Okay, now look at that sign. Hate symbols, okay? And no hate symbols, no hate speech. But we'll sit here and we'll promote our hatred for you. Yeah, not a contradiction at all, eh? Way to go, lady.
Lying as far as the eye can you give us an example of that, sir?
Yeah, you gotta keep your mask on. Safety.
Maybe the time to go see your buddy James Cobb. Touch, film me without my permission. Film me without your permission. I don't need your permission. Film me without 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 my permission. Film me without my permission. Film me without my permission.
Okay, and what's with all those squeaky toys? Like all these squeaky toys. Oh, please, we're standing up for our right. Yeah, you do. You know, Antifa, you Antifa associates, you people there at that protest, okay, engaging with the mezei and the rest of the rebel team there. You have every right to speak your mind and to claim your product. That's fine. But the squeaky toys, really? Well, oh fuck, whatever. It just keeps going to prove that crack don't smoke itself. But I'll carry on.
Can you take a step back, please? I'm on a public sidewalk, sir. Oh, hello, sir. What is your flight today? Excuse me? Well, you know what? We're peaceful. They're the ones coming, sir. Have you seen the thing? Okay, well, why are you talking to them? Why aren't you talking to them? We have been peaceful. Can you please start talking to those that have been putting their flags in our face? That's pretty profound. It sounded like flatulence.
Really good. I do a very good job.
Ma'am, are you not able to articulate your point while you're protesting here today?
I'm not able to articulate it out.
Okay, then.
Yes.
It's a very healthy looking tongue. Thank you. So, can you give us an example of the lie, sir?
Fuck that.
What? Liars! Sally Ann? Oh, that's a good one, sir. You know, why would you think I got this suit from the Sally Ann, sir? Because I saw it. Okay, then. It doesn't even fit. Oh, is that right? Okay, then. Well, I thank you for the advice from the Oshawa or the Ottawa fashion plate. Thank you very much. I think you're clearly.
Okay, so he's making fun of Menzoid's suit. Okay, I get it. Not that it really matters, but you're obviously not proving your point there, Buckeye. And notice the guy just behind Menzies there with the big beard. I guess he had a sign saying he remembers his oath as a veteran. Well, I remember my oath too. To let people speak their minds, right? Solemn affirmation, all that good stuff. And he's also holding up a sign that says, "I'm here to mop the top." Now look at this individual. Mr. Top just marched across the country. And I think Buddy there with the beard, I think spent more time marching to the buffet than marching off the buffet, if you catch my drift. But that's just me though. Anyway, I'll carry on with this little story for you all.
Another level of literacy. Now there's a bunch of police officers here. What is the purpose of squeezing that chicken, ma'am? Does the chicken have a significance in the movement? Why is the rainbow flag here? What does that have to do with anything?
So the group that claims that we are lying people aren't able to articulate one single instance where we have lied.
Liars! Well, folks, as you can see, we saw a counter protest for Mr. Top. Some are equating Top to be a fascist or an a-hole. I don't know why, and that's why we came across the street. It was to get their side of the story, but they're just chanting liars, and a lot of them have little squeeze toys. I don't know what the significance of that is. I know Efren encountered that in Ottawa back from Rolling Thunder, and we have many members of the fine Ottawa Police Service here. I can't say I'm not happy to see them because these people tend to act out violently. They are Antifa, but as I've always said, Antifa is a contraction of anti and fascist. But they just use fascism. It's just fun, not Antifa. What do you make of this, William? This is your city.
Exactly. I find this absolutely ridiculous to hear them say we are liars, but when I ask them what are we lying about, they aren't able to say one single instance where we have lied. These people put their signs up to our face, the flags are.
And that's typical too. I've encountered some lefties and I've chanted some communists during this journey, and they never have anything substantial to throw at the conversation. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, ladies and gentlemen, our democracy is not perfect, nor I don't think it ever will be. But when you see individuals like that presented to you, submitted for your approval, right? What exactly comes to mind? Now, I believe in their freedom of speech. They have every right there to protest what anyone is doing. But then again, you're looking at maybe a dozen or more people that are protesting against one man that took it upon himself to do something fucking wonderful. Okay. And you've probably seen that bigger bastard in there with the big beard and remember his oath. And he's there to mop up the top. Okay. Now, in his case, I will say, is that with gravy or without? Right. I think you've had a little too much mopping at the salad. Well, not at the salad, but you need the salad bar, buddy. That's just me, though.
To our face, the two police officers that came in earlier told us that we had to remain peaceful when the sign had been placed to our faces. So I find that the hypocrisy in this situation is absolutely fragrant. And I would clearly like to hear what we have lied about because they cannot say one single thing.
Well, I'm very interested. You know, they use a lot of profanity on their signs. It's funny that this sign says, pardon me, folks, off fascist, but I understand you can't bring an F Trudeau sign on Parliament Hill, but here's the full meal deal. I guess it's okay on the streets of Ottawa. Also, William, what do you make of this rainbow flag? I mean, I guess today is the last day of
the pride flag. It's missing the climate change, the little tree on it to be fully complete. But no, it's absolutely ridiculous. Let's look at some of the signs there. You see, this veterans remember his code.
I tried interviewing this individual, and he won't talk.
Had the pride flag there. This is unacceptable. Right behind it. Yeah, he's putting it up front. Fascists. Fuck up fascists there too. But not a single person can back up their claims. But that really shows what the LGBTQ leftist movement is all about, folks. That's really what it's about.
I just don't get it. I mean, you know, our mission is to bring you the other side of the story. But here's the question. What happens when the other side won't give you their side of the story? You know what it reminds me of? Just up the road back in April when we came across the Ottawa version of Witchy Poo. Do you remember? No more comments, lady. Check it out.
Please go away.
Okay, then.
No more comments. No more comments.
It just seems to
No
me-
more comments. No more comments.
For those of you who don't know who Witchy Poo is, I'll just remind some of my older audience there too. There used to be a TV show on back in the 70s for kids called HR Puff and Stuff, and she was the villain. So you guys make your own assumptions.
No more comments. 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 No more comments.
It's like interviewing a
No
Coke
more
machine when
comments.
your soda doesn't come
No
out. Well, this is no more comments, lady, on steroids, isn't it?
Well, that's what's happening. That's what the culture is nowadays in universities. That's what you see all the time. You never see an articulate point. You only see protesters like this. I was at the University of Ottawa before, and that's what you would see all the time. But no one would never say anything that is articulate. They would all say liar like this man right here. They would all wear the stupid rainbow flag like what's there right here. And they would all have signs like this. So folks, it really just shows what the movement is all about. It's not about being inclusive. It's not about discussion. It is about being fascist and excluding conservatives. That's what it's about, David.
You know, I think you're right. And folks, I guess they ran out of breath. The noise has stopped. But I'll end it with this, folks. I think if you cannot articulate your point, I think if you resort to ad hominem attacks, well, you know what? You've just lost the debate by default. Yeah. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. And folks, I'm going to reach out to you and make a plea. If you can go to ottawareports.ca, that's ottawareports.ca.
Anyway, I'll leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
yeah,
where
you can
we'll
follow Rebel
archive
Media here
all
on
our
YouTube
footage, but
and anywhere else.
it does
for that matter.
cost money.
Good bunch of folks there at Rebel Media. And regardless if you like it or not, it just that's the joy of Canada, ladies and gentlemen. You can speak your mind. But I think the past convoy has proven that there are a lot of politicians out there who just don't understand the magic word of free speech. More important than your feelings, ladies and gentlemen. That's the thing. Right? That's the thing. And these individuals have every right to speak their mind, and I encourage that too. It doesn't matter, right? I still laugh at that guy with the sign, "I'm here to mop up the top," and I'm thinking, well, Mr. James Top marched across the country, and I'm pretty sure, buddy, he'd take you for a run or two. He'd probably knock your block off. He'd probably hit you so hard that he'd knock that beard off your face and maybe about 20 pounds of that gravy that you had the night before. But, that's just me. What do I know?
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And just a reminder too, folks, you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. I know I should have said that before I started my rambling anyway, but you can also find me on Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, Instagram, YouTube, Getter, and Podbean, and wherever else you can put the Crusty Canuck podcast here, ladies and gentlemen, too. You can also listen to my podcast, as I mentioned, on Podbean, on Player FM, and I believe I'm still on Amazon too. So please check me out there. Just look for Crusty Canuck on Amazon, Player FM, and of course Podbean. And we're getting back to this whole Happy Canada Day. So yeah, it is a happy day. And regardless of what politicians say, regardless of what certain individuals say, yeah, we have a history of some bloodshed. We have a history of hardship. And when I listen to the progressive left talk about inclusivity and fairness and equality, what's stopping you kids from doing the same? Okay. There's a small little fraction that I just displayed for you all there. Okay. Are you promoting inclusivity? No, you're not. You're condemning a man for marching across the country to talk about freedom. And yet you kids are saying, oh, it's fascism, fascism. Yet half you guys promote a proletariat that is just similar to fascism, where you have to award everything to one leader or to the state. So how can you be promoting equality and diversity when you promote totalitarianism on your own turf, but you claim to be anti-fascist, you claim to be anti-tyrannical, you claim to be this and that, and yet I don't think even half yous have worked for a living. Now, you noticed in that little tidbit I played for you all there, how many union flags were there representing unions? Okay. I'm all for unions when they protect workers, when they actually protect the worker, not protect the union. Okay. And if any indication of that, Jagmeet Singh has promoted that drastically since the little merger with the Liberal Party. They're protecting themselves. So if anybody out there who disagrees with this podcast, I highly suggest you write me an email or engage me in some kind of political debate and try to prove me wrong. The Canada I fought for has always been inclusive. It says so in our anthem. We stand on guard for thee. The Canada I believe in has always been welcoming to the less fortunate. I was personally raised in a household where you don't judge people based on their gender or color of skin. You judge people based on how they treat others. That's simple. I don't hate the First Nations. I don't hate Asians. I don't hate blacks. I don't hate fellow white people, if that means anything, right? I hate the term people of color because I'd rather just call them people, not people of. You know what I mean? It just keeps promoting more division here. And the ass clown we have as prime minister loves it. Okay? He loves it. He's promoted himself with his blackface cartoons, with his groping allegations, with his favorite little political parties, the way he treated Jody Wilson-Raybould, the way he treated other female members of his caucus and of his cabinet, how he's treated other parliamentarians. Okay? Now, not every party is perfect. Okay. But when you look at this inflation, it's not about people that took the CERB-CEBA. It's about the government spending money, hiding it, lying about it, and then expecting you and I to pay for it. Right? It's that simple. But then what do we know, right? I'd just like to remind you what the Liberal Party represents.
Join the Liberal Party of Canada. We'll tell you what to think, what to do, how to wipe, how to pick your nose. Oh, the name of safety.
And of course, the compatriots of the NDP, Mr. Jagmeet Singh and his $5,000 suits and his BMW and his beautiful Rolex. But, you get to see where they stand for, too.
Join today's NDP. We'll keep moving the goalposts. You don't walk the line for us, we'll call you racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, homophobic. We look for racism in everything. Please, join the NDP today. And subscribe and donate. Please, walk our line. Thank you.
It's pretty self-explanatory, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now, I actually had a little tidbit there I was going to say for this podcast, but I deleted the email. Needless to say, I had this little exchange with some clown. I had no idea if it was he or she, or if they identified as shoe or zer or porcupine. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is this person had the audacity to try to tell me that so many people were fleeing to Cuba and that us Canadians had no idea what we were talking about, especially some old crusty guy like myself. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's right. Yeah, some old crusty guy. Sit on back and have some sexy radio with the old crusty guy. Yeah, that's right. Well, this old crusty guy has seen totalitarianism and its results. And I personally thought that what we did in Afghanistan was try to annihilate said totalitarianism, but I guess it didn't work. Shit happens. What can we say? But I never in vain, as far as I'm concerned. And I've actually had some really good in-depth conversations with people that survived totalitarianism. Mr. Artur Pawlowski out of Calgary, who feeds the homeless. He grew up in Poland during the Solidarity movement. Okay. Another lady that lived in the former Czechoslovakia, which is now the Czech Republic and the Slovak Republics, respectively, who grew up with that communist idea. I've talked to Cubans and I've talked to Russians. I've talked to people that fought in the Second World War, and I've talked to people that fought in the Korean War. And I've had the honor of talking to people that fought in Vietnam, too. And their perspectives changed drastically when it came to the bad guys and good guys and politics and everything. But nonetheless, they all stepped up and did their job to fight for what they thought was right, for freedom. Okay? You can fight for freedom without picking up a rifle. You can fight for freedom without beating someone's head in. You can fight for freedom without hurting people or damaging property. And the convoy proved it, regardless of how you feel about it or not. And the maple leaf is not a symbol of hatred or not a symbol to be taken back by one side or the other. It represents us as a whole, Justin, Liberal cabinet, and your dirty fucking supporters. It represents this country as a whole. So every virtue speech out there that's been given by this to the masses by this ass clown, null and void it. He's disingenuous. That man never fought for a goddamn thing in his life. Neither did his cabinet. This guy did. And I got a few friends that are laying around someplace that can prove that too. There's a few buddies of mine still serving that are kicking ass, taking names, that fought for that flag too. So when someone tells you the Canadian flag is a symbol of hatred, tell them to jog on. And tell them to learn how to stand up for something bigger than their feelings or their comfort. When they sacrifice something bigger than their safe space, they might get 1/8 of the fucking idea. But then, like I said, what do I know, right?
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And as I mentioned earlier, too, ladies and gentlemen, you can also find me on Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, Instagram, YouTube, Getter, and Podbean. You can also find this podcast on Player FM, Amazon Podcasts, and Podbean as well. And we're carrying on again with more of this Happy Canada Day. I am grateful to be a Canadian because we live in a democracy that is still working somewhat. It's not perfect, but I still have the freedom to get up and go to work every day, pay my bills, come home, kiss, and love my wife. And love all you out there too, my beautiful fan base. And I want to say thank you very much to the newer subscribers that have signed on recently. I'm now about, I think, 900 or 900. I can't speak English today. 9,006 and change. So I think my last count was 9,064. 100, I believe, or 640, I believe. It's been a long day. 9,640. There you go. Put my numbers together. All right. But I want to thank you all, too, for subscribe and the lovely comments I've received by email, too. And please, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you, when you see this video, click like, subscribe, click the little notification bell there on your YouTube channel. You can also find me on Rumble there as well. Please subscribe to me on Rumble. Thanks again out there to the individuals that have recently signed on to my Rumble account. Thank you very much for all that. And thank you to everyone out there who watches this and enjoys it too. Help the algorithm out, though. Please comment, like, subscribe, share this all around your social media platforms. Help a guy like myself out, get the word out there before the federal government wants to censor it because it's not Canadian enough, or because they just want to cover their asses because they think they're doing us a favor. Right? I'm going to carry on with the whole Canada thing too. A lot of celebrations going around the nation. There are a lot of fireworks. However, the capital lost its luster. Because if you look around on Facebook there was a list the Ottawa Police put out in regards to noise and ordinance and stuff like that and how they're going to fine you. So I guess they're trying to make some money out of the big fiasco when they got caught with their pants down there back in February. Now, I'm not disenfranchising any police officer. There's a few police officers I know in my life that are excellent fucking people. They look after their families and friends, and they just do their job to the best of their ability. But I also know they have the integrity to question unlawful command too. So that's a good thing, right? But when I look at the fiasco that was promoted and the bitter division that I saw from that, pretty sad. But time will tell what's going to happen. We know that the war in Ukraine isn't doing so well. You know, there's he said, she said, all that good stuff. And of course, our prime minister is all over that like a dirty shirt. He's going to give away some more equipment to help the Ukrainians and all that. And I'm all for helping the little guy. But I think it's time we have to focus on helping this country. More or less, guys, do your effing fucking job. Right? But, what do I know? But I'm not going to get emotional and angry here, too. Please stay tuned to my YouTube page and Facebook page for updates as they come. I'll be posting this up here shortly. So, excuse me. Oh, it's been a long day. I did some extra yard work today. So I'm a little tired. But needless to say, I had to get an episode up here for you all, my wonderful audience, because you guys are fucking awesome. And don't let anybody tell you any different, right? But I just I just get so fed up with these individuals and what they're trying to promote, right? All this virtue stuff. And there's people out there that buy it up and lap it all up. But I'm thankful for this nation because I fought for this nation. I'm thankful for my home. I'm thankful for my family, my friends. And let's keep promoting our free speech while we still have it, folks. Let's go out in the streets, wave the flag proudly, because the Canadian flag is probably the most inclusive flag on the planet. Next to our friends in the States, next to the Union Jack, you see behind me there too, right? Everyone living in this country, as far as I'm concerned, is included in everything. We have the equality of opportunity. That's what makes it rocks. Not because of, just equality for the sake of equality. Everyone gets a trophy. Everyone gets a prize. No, you got to earn that trophy. You got to earn that prize. The opportunity to do it is what's worth fighting for. And I'll fight for that till my dying days, till my last breath. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 2nd of July, 2022. I'll be up and running again on Tuesday. I have another episode for you there too before I start my work schedule. But like I say, do what we can to help each other in these trying times, ladies and gentlemen. And if you like to hear what you see, please click like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Send the notification bell out there. Let people know about the Crusty Canuck podcast. And it takes wonderful people like you out there to make that happen. If you want to donate, please donate. Links will be in the description, as always, and other ways to contact me and follow me in the description as well, too. I'll even close my mailing address so you can maybe send me some swagger or send me something nice. Please check out my shop at Customized Girl. Links in the description as well, too. And do what you can, help each other in these trying times, gentlemen. Summertime, get out there, enjoy the weather, enjoy the freedom, fight for the freedom. Take your family out to a nice picnic if you can afford it, but still, do what you can, help each other out. Help a neighbor out, help a loved one out. And just do what you can, just to be sincere, to be realistic. Anyway, do what you can to help each other in these trying times. And remember, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you Tuesday. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthy.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
Well, smack my ass and call me Judy.